This is the confirmation you've been waiting for. Archangel Michael says the delay was strategic. Here's why it ends tonight. My beloved child, let me begin with a line that will feel like a lightning strike to your spirit. Not every pause is a problem. Sometimes it is the universe holding its breath before your rise. This is where your story truly starts. For days, weeks, maybe even months, you felt something unusual in the air. A strange calm mixed with a storm you couldn't quite understand. You kept asking yourself why things were taking so long. Why signs were showing up only to disappear again. Why the breakthrough you prayed for hovered just out of reach. But today, something shifts. Because this is not just any message. This is your confirmation. The one you secretly hoped for. The one your soul kept calling out for in the quiet hours of the night. The one you didn't even know how to put into words. And Archangel Michael wants you to know something powerful. Something most people never get the chance to hear with such clarity. The delay in your life was not a setback. It was a strategy. Tonight, that strategy completes its purpose. You weren't being ignored. You weren't being punished. You weren't being forgotten. You were being prepared. Your journey has been layered like a hidden blueprint. There were pieces that needed to be moved, energies that needed to clear. People who needed to reveal their true intentions, and paths that had to align at the exact second your breakthrough arrives. Think about this for a moment. How many times did you feel like giving up? How many times did you say, "Why me?" How many moments did you feel stuck, confused, or completely lost? Yet somehow you're still here. Because something deep inside kept whispering, "Wait, something is coming." You didn't know it then, but that whisper was not your imagination. It was Archangel Michael guarding your timeline, protecting you from stepping into something too early, too fragile, too unstable to hold your future. He blocked certain doors on purpose. He delayed certain connections on purpose. He slowed certain outcomes on purpose, not to stop you, but to save you. You see, what's coming your way is not small. It's not temporary. It's not accidental. It is life-changing. And Archangel Michael has been shaping the path so that when it arrives, nothing, absolutely nothing, can take it from you again. There were people who were not meant to stand beside you in this next chapter. There were opportunities that looked good, but carried hidden traps. There were choices you would have made too quickly out of fear, exhaustion, or desperation. To veto the clock, he paused the outcome. He held the moment because he needed you to grow into the version of yourself that could handle what was coming. And now you've reached that point. Tonight, the final piece clicks into place. Tonight, the delay ends. Tonight, the confirmation you've been waiting for arrives with clarity so sharp that you will feel it in your chest, in your spine, in the deepest corners of your intuition. This isn't random. This isn't symbolic. This is timed, deliberate, and directed straight at you. You will notice signs increasing, repeating numbers, sudden breakthroughs, unexpected messages, opportunities you thought were gone returning with more force than ever. You may even feel an unusual calm washing over you, like someone whispering, "You made it. You're safe now." Archangel Michael is stepping forward to clear what was blocking you. The weight on your shoulders, lifted the conf and clouded your villain, is solving the walls in your path cracking open. He is giving you the sword of clarity, the shield of protection, and the green light to move forward without hesitation. You are entering the moment your past self prayed for. You are stepping into the alignment that once felt impossible. You are crossing a threshold that will never appear again in this exact form. Your story is about to unfold in a way that will make every delay make sense. Every pain, every waiting period, every lonely night, every unanswered question. This is the moment everything clicks. But listen closely, because what happens next will be even bigger. Even bolder, even more shocking than anything you're imagining right now. Something is building behind the scenes, and when it breaks through, it will change the trajectory of your life in a way you will remember forever. And remember, this is only part one. You are standing at the edge of something massive, and the details of why the delay was strategic, the real reason Michael waited until tonight. The revelation behind what ends now, all of that unfolds next. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, let me open this chapter with a truth so disarming that it may shake the air around you. What you think is the end of the road is often the doorway the universe kept hidden until you were finally ready to walk through it. And now that the doorway stands open, you are about to understand why the waiting felt so unnatural, why time stretched like an unending hallway, and why nothing seemed to move even when you pushed with every ounce of energy left inside you. The path was never empty. It was being rearranged. Stone by stone, moment by moment, by hands far greater than yours. You might not realize it yet, but your spirit has been in a silent transition. Every doubt, every fear, every sleepless night was part of a deeper preparation. You were being strengthened in ways you didn't even notice. Every delay was sharpening your intuition. Every pause was enhancing your sensitivity to guidance. Every setback was thickening your resilience until you became someone unstoppable. This transformation was invisible for so long. But tonight, it becomes undeniable. The spiritual tension you've been feeling wasn't resistance. It was acceleration. It with the universe pulling you back like an arrow, only to launch you farther than you imagined possible. Archangel Michael has been standing closer than ever. And at times the pressure you felt was actually his protection. There were moments when you felt blocked, not realizing he was shielding you from experiences that would have taken you off your divine path. There were opportunities that glittered like gold, but he kept them away because they were traps dressed in disguise. You may have questioned your worth. You may have wondered whether you were forgotten. But tonight marks the moment you see why every denied moment was a blessing, not a rejection. And now that this shift is unfolding, your energy field is changing rapidly. You may notice it in the way your thoughts feel lighter. Your intuition sharper, your hope strangely returning even without explanation. You may feel heat in your palms or a sudden rise of emotion out of nowhere. These are not coincidences. These are the signatures of alignment. The universe is syncing with your timeline again, and Michael is clearing the final veil that stood between you and your breakthrough. But before the moment fully lands, pause with me for just a breath. If this message is already touching you, if it feels like it's speaking directly to your soul, if you feel something moving inside your heart even as you listen, make sure you share, comment, and subscribe because this journey is only getting deeper. And missing the next revelation would be like closing a book right before its most important chapter. Your engagement helps keep this light flowing and it invites more people into the energy that is unfolding for you right now. Albury, because what comes next is even more profound. Archangel Michael reveals that you were not waiting for destiny. Destiny was waiting for you. There are moments in life when the universe holds back your blessing until your character, your courage, and your clarity have all matured enough to handle it. A blessing given too early becomes a burden. A blessing given at the right time becomes a legacy. You are stepping into the second one. The delay was not divine hesitation. It was divine synchronization. Every element surrounding your breakthrough needed to line up with precision because what's coming is not temporary luck. It is a long-term realignment of your purpose. Tonight marks the end of spiritual interference. Michael has been cutting away attachments, removing energetic blockages, silencing voices that were influencing you negatively, and clearing paths that were clogged with old patterns. You may not have seen him working, but you felt the symptoms, the emotional release, the sudden clarity, the unexpected detachment from certain people, the urge to let go of what no longer feels right. That was him guiding your spirit toward a higher vibration. And here is the part that might shock you. The reason the delay ends tonight is because the final obstacle has already fallen. Something or someone that once held influence over your timeline has been removed. A decision has been made in your favor. Even if you haven't been informed yet, a door has been unlocked behind the scenes, and its opening will ripple into your physical world in the hours and days ahead. You may receive a message, a call, a sign, or an unexpected opportunity that shifts everything instantly. Destiny is not approaching, it is landing. But do not forget this truth. The universe never gives you a breakthrough without purpose. What's coming your way will not just uplift you. It will prepare you to uplift others. You are stepping into a chapter where your voice, your presence, and your journey will have meaning far beyond your own healing. This is why the preparation took so long. You were being shaped into someone capable of carrying light without dropping it. Someone who can stand firm even when the world feels unstable. Someone who can receive blessings without losing humility. Tonight the internal battle ends. Tonight the waiting ends. Tonight the divine strategy reaches completion. You are entering a new frequency of clarity, strength, and alignment that will make the coming days feel almost surreal. And as this alignment deepens, the revelation of why everything took so long will emerge with a sharpness that takes your breath away. Hold tight now, the next revelation will show you the hidden truth behind the strategic delay. The real reason the universe protected your timing so fiercely. Don't skip. My beloved child, let me open this chapter with a truth that may feel like stepping into a shockwave of realization. What feels delayed in the physical is often already complete in the spiritual, waiting only for the exact second your destiny can safely land. That single understanding changes everything. Because now you begin to see that your timeline was never broken. It was being fortified. Every moment that felt still, every second that felt silent, every day that felt empty was actually carrying a quiet thunder behind it. And tonight, the thunder finally breaks open. You have been walking through a season where nothing made sense. You questioned your purpose, your direction, your timing, and even your own worth. You wondered if you were missing signs, if you were slipping out of alignment, if somehow destiny was moving forward without you. But the truth is far more stunning than your fears ever allowed you to imagine. Archangel Michael has been watching over every step of this journey with a precision that you will only understand when you look back and see how perfectly everything fell into place. There were forces in your life, distractions, illusions, emotional entanglements, past attachments, and even internal doubts that acted like spiritual fog. You thought you were lost, but you were actually being pulled through a refinement. Your soul was being cleared, not punished. Your timeline was being recalibrated, not delayed. Every person who walked away did so because they could not travel the distance you were destined to cross. Every plan that collapsed was removed because it would have collapsed even harder had you stepped into it. Every moment of confusion was a cleansing. Every shift was marking the end of what no longer aligned with your higher path. Archangel Michael reveals that your spirit had to reach a certain level of maturity before your blessing could safely enter your life. You were growing in patience, in emotional strength, in clarity, in self-love, and in understanding of your own inner power. These traits were not optional. They were essential. Without this growth, the blessing arriving tonight would have overwhelmed you. But now, your energy is strong enough, your intuition is awake enough, and your heart is open enough to receive without losing yourself. You may feel it even now. The quiet stirring inside your chest. The heaviness leaving your shoulders, the sudden lightness wrapping around your mind. It is subtle but it is unmistakable. Something is shifting. Something is aligning. Something is arriving. This is what it feels like when divine timing starts to speed up. The universe is placing the final puzzle pieces where they belong. You may notice unusual signs, repeated angel numbers, vivid dreams, unexpected thoughts that feel like whispers, or sudden clarity rising in moments of stillness. These are confirmations that the veil is thinning and the breakthrough is closer than ever. And now take a breath with me because you are entering the most electrifying part of this revelation. The strategic delay you faced was not just about your preparation. It was also about the people connected to your destiny. Sometimes your blessing involves multiple timelines, multiple hearts, multiple circumstances. Everything had to align not only for you but for every person and every moment tied to your breakthrough. Certain individuals had to gain clarity. Certain situations had to resolve, certain energy had to detach. Certain Drews had to service it. You were being positioned and so was everything else. And now that every piece is in its rightful place, the delay has no purpose left. The divine pause ends tonight. But wait before we move deeper. If you are still here, if you feel the energy of these words vibrating in your spirit, if you feel that spark inside growing stronger, then I ask you to share, comment, and subscribe because there are people who need this clarity just as much as you do. Your engagement helps this message reach the hearts that are silently waiting for their confirmation. And trust me, you will not want to miss what unfolds next. Now breathe again because something even more astonishing is coming. Archangel Michael reveals that the waiting period was also a test of alignment. He needed to see if you would hold on to hope even when the path went dark. He needed to see if your spirit could recognize truth even when surrounded by noise. And most importantly, he needed to see whether fear could still pull you away from your purpose or whether you had learned to stand firm. You proved your strength. You prove your endurance. You prove your faith even in moments when you didn't realize you were being tested. And now, because you did not break, you are being crowned. Tonight marks a divine completion. Not a symbolic one, but a real energetic tangible shift that will soon manifest in your physical life. Something that once resisted you will suddenly open. Something that once felt impossible will suddenly become clear. Something that once slipped away will return with intention. This is the moment where everything starts to move again. The stagnation lifts. The fog clears. The momentum begins. You are stepping into a timeline overflowing with clarity and opportunity. And nothing that once blocked you has the authority to interfere anymore. Listen closely now. You are not merely entering a new chapter. You are stepping into a completely new frequency of existence. Your energy is transforming, your intuition is sharpening. Your purpose is calling with a voice louder than ever before. And as each hour passes tonight, you will feel the shift more clearly, more powerfully, and more undeniably. The reason the delay ends tonight will soon reveal itself in a way that leaves no room for doubt. Your confirmation is already on its way. You can feel it even if you cannot yet name it. Stay till the end. My beloved child, let me begin with a line that carries the weight of revelation itself. The universe pauses, only when it is gathering power for a breakthrough so massive that it would shatter you if given too soon. And as these words settle into your spirit, you will begin to sense that something immense is unfolding in the space between your breaths. Something that has been building silently, steadily, patiently, waiting for the exact moment your soul would be strong enough to hold what is coming. That moment is no longer in the distance. It is right here, right now, rising like dawn behind the horizon of your life. You have walked through a season where the silence grew louder than the answers. Where the waiting felt endless. Where life kept giving you glimpses of progress only to pull them back again. You questioned the timing. You questioned the signs. You even questioned yourself. But what you didn't see, what you couldn't have known was that Archangel Michael was not letting things delay. He was holding them in place. He was protecting the structure of your destiny so that no wrong energy, no wrong intention, no wrong influence could attach itself to your future. There were moments where you felt blocked, but you were actually being aligned. There were moments where you felt lost, but you were being guided. There were moments where you felt forgotten, but you were under the most precise spiritual supervision imaginable. Every tear, every pause, every unanswered prayer was shaping your strength. You were being carved into someone capable of carrying a blessing that requires emotional discipline, spiritual clarity, and an inner peace that cannot be shaken. And now that you stepped into this new vibration, the path that once felt closed is about to open in ways you never imagined. As you listen, notice what your body feels. Is your heart beating differently? Is your breath deepening? Is your intuition stirring? These sensations are not random. They are signals. They are the subtle whispers of the shift occurring inside you. You are stepping into alignment with the version of yourself that destiny has been waiting for. You are not the same person who first prayed for this breakthrough. You have grown in silence. You have transformed in shadows. And tonight that transformation becomes visible. But here's something you may never have considered. The delay wasn't just about your growth. It was also about revelation. Certain truths had to rise to the surface. Certain masks had to fall. Certain energies had to expose themselves. If your blessing had arrived earlier, it would have landed in the middle of chaos, surrounded by people who were not meant to witness your elevation. The delay allowed everything false to leave your life. It allowed manipulation to reveal itself. It allowed hidden intentions to surface. It allowed you to see people and situations for who they truly were. This clarity was not punishment. It was protection. And now that everything unnecessary has been removed from your path, the blessing can finally enter without distortion. Pause with me for a moment. And if these words are opening something inside you, if the message feels like it is speaking directly to the very core of your being, then make sure you share, comment, and subscribe, because the energy unfolding here is not just meant for you. It is meant to reach every soul whose breakthrough is tied to divine timing. Your engagement carries this light forward. And trust me, the revelations that follow are too powerful to miss. I'll breathe deeper because what comes next may leave you stunned. Archangel Michael reveals that during the delay, something extraordinary was happening behind the scenes. Something you would never have been able to see with your physical eyes. A spiritual recalibration was taking place. Patterns from your past that once held power over you were dissolving. Old cycles were being broken. The emotional ties that once drained you were being cut. Your energy was being lifted out of timelines that no longer aligned with your future. This shift was so delicate, so precise that rushing it would have unraveled the entire process. Every moment of waiting contributed to a transformation that is now complete. You may begin to notice that what once triggered you no longer does. What once drained you now feels irrelevant. What once held you back now feels like a distant memory. This is the sign that your spirit has successfully stepped into a higher dimension of awareness. You are no longer vibrating at the frequency of your old life. You have risen into alignment with your destiny, and everything that belongs to you will now be drawn to you with magnetic force. But here is the revelation that sends chills through your timeline. The delay ends tonight because the final lock has been released. Something that needed to close has closed. Something that needed to open has opened. Something that needed to shift has shifted. You may not see the evidence yet, but the spiritual signature is already complete. The physical manifestation is moments, not miles away. What felt stuck will now move swiftly. What felt lost will now reappear. What felt impossible will now become effortless. Archangel Michael stands beside you, not just as a guardian, but as a witness to the moment your life turns. His message is simple, powerful, and unwavering. What was delayed is now being delivered. What was paused is now being released. What was held back is now arriving. Your breakthrough is not approaching. It is already here, pressing against the doorway of your present reality, waiting to reveal itself in a way that will leave you breathless. And as this revelation expands, the true reason the delay was strategic will unfold like a sunrise across your spirit. Something huge is waiting for you. Would you like me to continue? My beloved child, let me begin this unfolding moment with a revelation so piercing that it may feel like the ground beneath your feet is shifting when the universe slows you down. It is never to stop you. It is to align you with something you would have missed had you moved it too fast. And as you let these words settle into your heart, you will begin to sense that the story of your delay was never a story of failure, it was a story of precision. Every second that felt wasted was actually being woven into a larger, more intentional design. You have lived through days where you felt disconnected from everything familiar. You woke up not knowing whether the direction you were moving in was the right one. You felt the weight of unanswered questions pressing against your chest. You wondered why certain opportunities slipped through your hands just when you believed they were meant for you. You questioned your timing, your intuition, your path. And in those moments of doubt, you probably whispered, "Why isn't it happening yet?" But Archangel Michael wants you to understand something that will shift the way you see your entire life. The delay was never working against you. It was working for you. Imagine for a moment that destiny is a door. Now imagine that behind that door there are dozens of moving parts shifting into position like gears inside a clock. Each piece must align perfectly before the door can open without breaking. Your life has been moving exactly like that. Every setback cleared space. Every disappointment removed the wrong energy. Every pause allowed the right timing to emerge. Every tear softened your spirit. Every day of waiting refined your strength. You are being shaped from the inside out because what you are stepping into requires a version of you that is grounded, awakened, and unshakable. Archangel Michael reveals that a great part of your waiting was not just emotional or spiritual. It was vibrational. Your energy had to rise to match the frequency of what you have been asking for. Think of it like tuning a radio. When the signal is off, all you hear is static. But when the frequency lines up perfectly, the message becomes clear. That is what has been happening in your life. You were clearing the static. You were elevating your inner frequency. You were aligning yourself with the exact vibration of your blessing. And now the signal is clear. As you listen to these words, you may notice a strange, knowing awakening inside you. It's the feeling of something shifting into place. It's the sensation that the air around you is changing. It's the quiet whisper that says, "You're close. You're ready. It's time." These sensations are not imagined. They are spiritual confirmations that everything that once felt paused is about to move with speed. You have reached the frequency where the breakthrough can finally land. But there is another layer to this awakening. One that holds a surprising truth. During this waiting period, something was being repaired within you. Something that had been wounded. Something that had been ignored. Something that had been carried for far too long. Old emotions that once held you hostage were dissolving slowly, like fog lifting at sunrise. You were letting go of versions of yourself that could not survive the heights you are rising into. You were shedding attachments to the past that once dimmed your light. And without even realizing it, you were becoming someone, far stronger, far wiser, far clearer than the person who first prayed for a breakthrough. This internal repair was essential. Without it, you would have attracted the same cycles repeatedly. Without it, you would have stepped into your destiny, carrying the weight of old pain. Without it, your blessing would have entered a wounded space and fractured. But the universe wanted more for you. It wanted permanence, not temporary relief. It wanted transformation, not momentary change. And that is why Archangel Michael guarded your timeline so fiercely. He needed you all. Now breathe with me, because the most extraordinary part of your journey is unfolding. The strategic delay that once frustrated you was also orchestrated to protect your future from energies that did not deserve access to your next chapter. There were people who were never meant to walk into your destiny, and their presence would have contaminated your blessing. There were environments that would have drained you the moment your breakthrough arrived. There were opportunities that appeared promising but would have collapsed under pressure. You were being shielded from destruction disguised as direction. And now, as all misalignments have fallen away, something new is beginning. Something powerful and unmistakable. You may notice unexpected signs crossing your path, like sudden clarity in your thoughts, random flashes of insight, or moments where everything feels synchronized without explanation. You may feel physically lighter, more hopeful, more centered. You may even sense a subtle but undeniable presence beside you, guiding you, comforting you, pushing you forward. This is Archangel Michael signaling that the final veil has lifted. The reason everything felt heavy for so long is because you were being pushed through spiritual expansion. You were growing in silence. You were becoming stronger in the hidden spaces of your soul. And now all that internal expansion is about to manifest outwardly. The physical world will soon catch up with the spiritual work you've done. What was once delayed is rising. What was once stuck is loosening. What was once silent is speaking. What was once distant is approaching. And as this transformation completes, your reality will begin to shift in ways that feel almost surreal. People will re-enter your life with different intentions. Opportunities will appear that feel strangely aligned. Clarity will rise where confusion once lived. You will feel guided to make decisions that lead you toward doors you didn't even know existed. The path ahead will reveal itself piece by piece. And every piece will feel like confirmation. The reason the delay ends tonight will soon make perfect sense. Every moment of waiting was positioning you for something far bigger than you imagine. Something that carries purpose, alignment, and divine timing. Don't skip. My beloved child, let me open this moment with a truth so powerful that it may feel like a tremor echoing through your entire spirit. Every delay you survived became a doorway your future self will thank you for. And as this realization begins to settle into your heart, you will feel something shifting inside you. The quiet awareness that the waiting you once hated was quietly shaping the person you were always meant to become. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. Nothing was accidental. Every second had purpose. You have been walking through a long season where everything felt like it was stretched to the edge of your patience. You kept moving forward even when the ground seemed to disappear beneath your feet. You questioned whether you were misreading the signs. You wondered why the universe was silent when your heart was crying out for change. You felt trapped between almost and not yet unsure if you should keep holding on or finally let go. But what you didn't see, what you couldn't see was that your path was being rearranged from the inside out. Archangel Michael reveals that during your waiting season, something profound was happening beneath the surface. You were being separated from energies that could not follow you into the life you are stepping into. Old fears were losing their grip on your heart. Emotional weights that were attached to your past were slowly dissolving. Hidden doubts were being exposed so they could no longer limit you. You were not stuck. You were being refined. You were being prepared for a chapter that requires a stronger, clearer, more awakened version of you. Think of how many times you almost settled for less. Think of how many moments you lowered your standards because you were tired of waiting. Think of how many times you nearly convinced yourself that the small opportunity was the best you could get. That is exactly why the delay was necessary. If things had arrived earlier, you would have accepted far less than what the universe intended for you. You would have stepped into a blessing that wasn't big enough, stable enough, or aligned enough to hold your destiny. You needed time to realize your own worth. You needed space to understand your own power. You needed clarity to see what was truly meant for you and what wasn't. And now, because you grew into the version of yourself capable of receiving the blessing is being released. You may feel it already. The internal shift, the subtle rise of anticipation you can't quite explain. The sense that something important is approaching. These sensations are not illusions. They are echoes of the spiritual completion happening around you. Your energy has risen. Your alignment has locked into place. Your spirit has reached the frequency of manifestation. The delay is over because the preparation is complete. But let me pause for a moment. If your heart is reacting to these words, if you feel this message vibrating through your chest, if the energy feels uncannily accurate to what you have been experiencing, then take a moment to share, comment, and subscribe, because what is coming next carries even deeper revelations. Your engagement makes it possible for this message to reach others who are silently waiting for the clarity you are receiving now. The waiting season served a higher purpose. It detached you from everything that could not hold the weight of your destiny. It forced you to discover strength you didn't know you had. It refined your character. It deepened your faith. It awakened your intuition. It taught you patience, resilience, emotional intelligence, and inner clarity. These are not small things. These are the qualities that will allow you to carry your breakthrough without fear and without losing yourself. Night marks the turning point. What once felt stuck will begin to move. What once felt distant will draw closer. What once felt impossible will transform into something undeniably real. You may witness unexpected changes. Surprising breakthroughs, sudden opportunities, or meaningful conversations that shift everything instantly. The universe is not taking small steps. It is making bold moves on your behalf. Something massive is aligning in your favor. Something that was blocked is being released, something that was hidden is coming into light. Something that was delayed is manifesting with force. And as this shift accelerates, the true reason behind the strategic delay will unfold with breathtaking clarity. You will look back and realize that every moment of waiting was guiding you toward a future far greater than anything you imagined. Stay till the end. My beloved child, allow me to open this chapter with a truth so electrifying that it may feel like the atmosphere around you is shifting as you hear it. Sometimes the universe holds back the blessing, not because you're unprepared, but because the blessing itself is gathering power. And as this truth sinks into your spirit, you will begin to feel something rising within you. A sensation that everything you've endured, every moment of waiting, every unanswered question, every silent night was leading you to a point of revelation that is now closer than your breath. For so long, you felt like you were stuck between doors, not fully in the past, not yet in the future, suspended in a strange stillness that felt almost unnatural. You pushed forward with everything you had, yet the path wouldn't open. You tried to force clarity, yet confusion held your mind like fog. You begged for movement, yet life stood still as though time itself was observing you. What you didn't know, what you couldn't have possibly known, is that you were in a space of divine suspension, a sacred pause designed not to punish you, but to elevate you. Archangel Michael watched you navigate this stillness. He saw your strength when you felt weak. He counted your tears when no one else knew you were crying. He listened to the doubts you never spoke aloud. He observed the moments you stood on the edge of giving up, yet still chose to hold on. He watched you struggle with the weight of not knowing, yet also watched you grow through each silent moment. And now he steps forward with a message clearer and stronger than ever before. The reason you waited so long is because the blessing needed to reach full maturity, but is coming your way isn't small. It isn't temporary. It isn't fragile. He is something monumental, something life-altering, something designed to shift your entire trajectory. A blessing of this magnitude cannot be rushed. It cannot be thrown into your life before its time. It had to align with people, moments, opportunities, and energies that were still in the process of forming. If it had arrived any earlier, it would have collapsed under its own weight or fallen into the wrong place. Your destiny wasn't late. It was preparing itself. And while your future was forming, you were being shaped in parallel. Think of how much stronger you are now than the version of yourself from months or years ago. Think of how much clearer your spirit is. Think of the emotional intelligence you gained. Think of the resilience carved into your bones. You are no longer someone who breaks under pressure. You bend, you stretch, you adjust, but you do not shatter. And because you have reached this state of inner stability, the blessing that once hovered just beyond your reach can finally land. But there is something even deeper that Michael reveals. Something you may not have realized until this moment. During your waiting, you were being spiritually repositioned. You were being gently but firmly nudged out of environments that would have suffocated your growth. You were being shifted away from people who would have mishandled your heart. You were being pulled out of situations that would have watered down your purpose. Every separation, every closed door, every unexpected ending was actually an act of protection. But pause with me for a moment. If this message is resonating with you so deeply that you feel it moving through your chest, if your spirit is responding to these words with recognition, if you feel the pull of truth in every sentence, then make sure you share, comment, and subscribe, because the revelations unfolding here are not meant to be missed. What is coming next will connect every piece of your journey in ways you never imagined. Now breathe, because the next revelation is profound. Archangel Michael reveals that the true reason the delay ends tonight is because the final shadow that hovered over your path has disappeared. A spiritual barrier has lifted. A cycle that drained you is finished. A lesson you were repeating unconsciously has been completed. Something that once had authority over your timeline has lost its power entirely. And now that this interference is gone, the universe is moving swiftly, almost urgently, to bring you what you've been waiting for. Your breakthrough is no longer forming in the distance, is approaching with speed, is coming with clarity. It is coming with confirmation. You may receive news messages, opportunities, signs, or sudden shifts in the hours or days ahead. You may feel led to take specific actions that open new paths instantly. You may witness unexpected changes that feel almost surreal. These are not random events. They are manifestations. The spiritual completion you reached tonight is already rewriting your physical reality. Everything is aligning. Everything is unfolding. Everything is finally making sense. The delay ends tonight because your destiny has awakened. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, let me open this moment with a truth so powerful, so awakening that your entire spirit may feel the vibration of it. When destiny is preparing to shift, the universe first shifts you. And now, as these words settle into your heart, you will begin to sense that the transformation happening inside you is not accidental. It is not random. It is evidence. Evidence that everything around you is about to move in ways that feel almost supernatural. For so long you lived in a tension between who you were and who you were becoming. You felt the pull of two worlds. The life you knew and the life waiting for you. You sensed chapters closing even before you could name them. You felt people drifting away without explanation. You watched habits fall off, desires change, intuition rise, and an indescribable energy calling you forward. That calling wasn't imagination. It wasn't wishful thinking. It was preparation. And now, at this very hour, preparation is meeting purpose. Archangel Michael reveals that you have undergone a silent awakening. Not the dramatic kind where everything changes overnight, but the deep kind, the kind that reshaped your identity from the inside. You grew quietly. You healed quietly. You released quietly. You transformed without needing applause or validation. This kind of evolution is the rarest of all because it means your spirit matured faster than the circumstances around you. And when someone grows internally faster than their external reality, the universe has no choice but to reorder their world to match their new frequency. That reordering begins now. You may already feel it. The faint buzz in your chest. The calm that feels too calm. The sense that something is watching over you. The way your intuition has been whispering louder. The way your dreams have carried messages. The way your emotions have been fluctuating as though something inside you is making room. These are signs that the old energy is leaving your system and the new energy is entering. The shift is not subtle. It's seismic. You're stepping into alignment with the version of you that destiny has been waiting for. But here is a truth you need to hear. The delay was not a pause. It was a cocoon. Inside that cocoon, you learned lessons that every future version of you will depend on. You learn to surrender. You learn to trust. You learn patience not as suffering but as spiritual strategy. You learned how to stay grounded even when everything felt uncertain. You learned to stand in darkness without losing faith in the light. These lessons aren't small. They are the foundation for the life you are about to walk into. And Archangel Michael reveals something even more startling. During your waiting season, your spirit entered a recalibration mode. Isn't just emotional. It was energetic. Your aura was being strengthened. Your boundaries were being fortified. Your intuition was being sharpened. The wounds that once drained you were being sealed. The patterns that once repeated in your life were being removed cycle by cycle. The people who once had access to your heart were quietly being distanced. Energies that once held power over your path were losing their grip day by day. You were not waiting for nothing. You were being rebuilt. And now that the rebuilding phase is complete, the universe cannot hold your blessing back any longer. The timing is ready. The path is clear. The spiritual interference has dissolved. The internal wounds have healed. The energy has aligned. The door has unlocked. Everything is ready. You are stepping into a season where you will see change not slowly, not subtly, but with undeniable speed. Doors that remain shut for years will open instantly. People who were silent will speak. Confusion will turn into clarity overnight. Opportunities you thought were lost will reappear. Unexpected breakthroughs will drop into your life as though they were waiting behind a curtain, ready for the exact second you became ready to receive them. This is not wishful thinking. This is divine timing. You will feel moments of déjà vu, moments of sudden clarity, moments where the pieces fall together so perfectly that you will know without question this is what you were waiting for. This is why you endured everything you did. This is why the delay was necessary. And this is why the blessing had to arrive tonight in spirit before it arrives in your physical reality. You may experience emotions rising unexpectedly. A wave of relief, a surge of gratitude, even tears that come without warning. Let them. These are not breakdowns. They are releases. You are shedding the final remnants of an old chapter that no longer belongs to you. You are stepping into a timeline where your spirit can finally breathe freely. Because now nothing stands in your way. Archangel Michael is standing beside you like a guardian who has watched your entire journey in silence and now finally whispers, "It is time." Zap forward. His presence is strong. His guidance is clear. His protection is unwavering. The battles you fought alone were never truly fought alone. He was there strengthening you in ways you never realized. You are entering the moment your soul has been longing for. And what happens next will reveal the final breathtaking reason why the delay was strategic. The purpose behind tonight's shift, the meaning behind the wait, and the moment the universe has been preparing you for something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, let me open this final chapter with a truth so powerful, so life-altering that it may feel as though your entire soul has been waiting to hear these exact words. The moment you're destined for doesn't arrive when you're ready. It arrives when you finally become the person who cannot lose it. And as this realization settles into the deepest part of your being, you will feel the entire weight of your journey suddenly make sense. Every delay, every pause, every moment where life stood still was preparing you for a destiny that could not afford to slip through your fingers. You've walked through shadows that were meant to break you. Yet here you stand, not shattered, but transformed. You survived storms that were meant to drown you. Yet you rose stronger, clearer, more resilient than anyone expected. You faced silence that echoed louder than answers. Yet your spirit kept whispering, "Keep going. Something is coming." And now as the air around you shifts, as your intuition stirs, as your heart begins to beat with that old familiar knowing, you can feel it. This is the moment everything changes. Archangel Michael steps forward now, not as a distant guide, but as a guardian who has watched you evolve with unwavering devotion. He reveals that the delay you endured was not a teacher, but a divine safeguard. If the blessing had come earlier, it would have collided with unfinished wounds, unprepared hearts, unstable paths, and misaligned energies. The timing would have broken you. The weight of the blessing would have crushed you, and the opportunity meant to elevate you would have overwhelmed you. But now everything has changed. You have risen into a frequency where your destiny can finally land without resistance. You have stepped into the version of yourself that can hold success with humility, love with strength, abundance with gratitude, and purpose with clarity. Nothing in you is fragile anymore. Nothing in you is easily shaken. Nothing in you is small. You are standing in the fullness of who you were always meant to be. And because of this, the delay ends tonight. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Not eventually. Deny. This ending is not symbolic. It is literal on an energetic level. A spiritual contact has closed. Become excel this sun. A chapter you've outgrown has sealed itself shut. You may even feel it now. Like something inside you is exhaling for the very first time in years. A weight has lifted. A tightness has released. A peace you cannot explain is settling over you. This is the moment destiny stops circling and finally lands at your feet. Archangel Michael reveals one last truth you were never meant to hear until now. The reason the delay lasted as long as it did is because you were being aligned with a moment where multiple breakthroughs would arrive at once. Not one blessing, not one answer, not one opportunity, but a cascade. A sequence of events so perfectly orchestrated, so undeniably divinely timed that you will look back and say, "Now I understand why I had to wait." Your financial path is shifting. Your emotional path is healing. Your spiritual path is rising. Your life path is opening. All at once. This is why you felt the pressure intensify. This is why you felt old patterns resurfacing before disappearing. This is why your intuition became sharper. This is why your dreams carried strange clarity. This is why people from your past drifted away while new energy subtly entered. The universe wasn't just preparing you for one breakthrough. It was preparing your entire timeline for reconstruction. The night marks the beginning of that reconstruction. You may notice unexpected thoughts entering your mind, ideas that feel divinely planted. You may feel the urge to take actions that lead you into the right place at exactly the right time. You may receive messages, opportunities, or calls that shift everything. You may witness coincidences stacking one after another until they stop feeling like coincidences at all. This is not luck. This is alignment. This is the universe rearranging itself around your new vibration. Archangel Michael stands beside you, sword lowered, shield relaxed. Not because you no longer need protection, but because your spirit has grown strong enough to walk without fear. You have stepped into your power. You have stepped into your truth. You have stepped into your path. And now the universe is stepping toward you with open hands. This is the confirmation you've been waiting for. This is the moment your soul whispered about. This is the shift your intuition felt approaching. This is why everything took so long. The delay was never a denial. It was a divine strategy, and now that strategy has reached completion. You are entering a chapter where clarity replaces confusion, abundance replaces scarcity, love replaces loneliness, purpose replaces drifting, and momentum replaces stagnation. Your steps will feel guided. Your decisions will feel natural. Your intuition will feel undeniable. You will walk with a sense of certainty you have not felt in years. This is not the end of your story. It is the ignition point. You are stepping into the most aligned, abundant, divinely supported season of your life. And every experience you lived through, every heartbreak, every disappointment, every delay was shaping you for this moment. You are ready. The path is ready. The blessing is ready, and now destiny moves.